Hi guys! So today I wanted to show you guys all the books that I read for the past couple of months. So I chose like 4 books to review today. I recently just read this book, The Innovator's Dilemma, and it was really hard to read. And then secondly, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I read this like 2 times. And then the third one is The Alchemist. This book changed my life. And the fourth one is, as we all know, Atomic Habits. I really loved these 4 books. Not very much with The Innovator's Dilemma because it was actually super hard to read. English is my second language, so I read 4 pages to actually comprehend what was going on because I just can't. But there were some good takes to actually consider though. Before I forget, I'm gonna talk about this Innovator's Dilemma. So if you're a business student, or this can apply to any kind of field, but especially if you're in a business student. But all in all, there were some really nice quotes that I memorized that could actually work in real life situations, So, for example, non-existent markets are best researched through action rather than passive observation. To put it in simple terms, you gotta take actions rather than always studying and researching. If you want to accomplish something in life, no matter how many books you read, no matter how many how to do self-help tutorials that you watch on YouTube, no matter how much research you do, of course those are really important factors, but action is the best strategy to actually know what you're doing. So for example, let's say that you want to launch a product, you want to start a business. So rather than thinking will this business do well? Is there a market for my business? Or will there be customers who will buy my products? You just introduce the prototype, and then see how it goes. And then present it to someone. Are you gonna buy this? Will you buy this with your own real money? And then if they're not gonna buy it, then the product wasn't very much needed in the first place. A lot of people make mistakes of studying too much, working really hard, putting themselves in a very limiting position, like this or nothing. If they planned to launch a product, and then okay, if this product fails, if no one's gonna buy it, then that means it's over. A lot of people think like that instead of thinking that first be prepared to fail, because your first try will probably almost always fail. So be prepared for change, be prepared for redirection and transition, because if that fails, then it's all right. It's not the end of the world. Most people do this, they try it on their first time and it kind of doesn't go well, or they try it on their second time and it kind of doesn't go well, and then they just give up on it. Okay, this will not work, this didn't work, and they are so disappointed. So instead of doing that, be prepared to fail. Okay, if this fails, it's going to be okay, because I am going to try again, try a different method, and then launch another product. Think like that. So I thought that was really a good life tip for me. Be prepared to fail, and then be prepared to change is the point. Another also really good memorable thing that I got out of this book was, if you're applying a disruptive product, the process should be learning, not executing perfection. This ties back to my previous point. If you're trying something new, you should aim for the process of learning. You shouldn't aim for the results. You shouldn't aim for success firsthand, because that can like end up in failure in so many ways. Like 70%, 80% of the time, that will almost always fail. When your expectation like doesn't like meet that success that you thought for yourself at first hand, you will most certainly give up. But if you aim for the process of learning, then it's going to be enjoyable, and you will try again, and you will most likely like enjoy the journey and then go a mile further from the people who only aimed for the goals. Aim for the process of learning. If you're like a business student, like read this book. The points in this book are actually true, but the way it describes the storyline is just exhausting to read, you know. It's just I just wanted to give up from the get-go, because like I can't understand. Yeah, if you really like want to read this and like read one page at a time, consider like reading this, because it's a very developed, very discipline specific book. Next book, Atomic Habits. All right, everyone probably already knows it, but this actually like made my life easier. So the points in this Atomic Habits book is that I really like this one graph. The graph, if you look at this graph, you think that you are going to like progress in a linear way, but you're not, because like it actually takes a little time. And this thing right over here, it's called the disappointment valley. So actually like it goes very slowly, or it goes like downhill from the start. Because when you start out, did you ever like notice that when you start out something new, you're actually good at it, and then when you continue to do it, you actually fall and then realize that you're actually not that good? And that is the disappointment valley. So like most people like give up on this disappointment valley thing. They do not continue that thing, because like it's not like meeting the expectation. You expected yourself to go in a linear way, but no, it's taking some time, and it's like you're being disappointed. Language learning also has this graph. People learn language in a U-curve. First you start off really great, but that was just the start, and then when you continue it, you actually like notice that you really suck at learning new language, and then you go to the bottom pit of it, and then finally, if you were persistent, determined, and disciplined enough, and then continue to do it, then everything like changes. It goes up even better than you have ever imagined. Imagine if it went in a linear way. It's just boring linear way, like it's so predictable, right? So you just grow and grow and grow. There's no like falling point. But what actually happens is very rewarding if you really think about it. It's taking some time, and that's okay, because like when you actually like reach this point, it goes even better than you ever imagined. Because you thought that you were going to have like a 5 million in a year, and then like 10 million in 2 years, but actually you will have like 100,000 in a year, and then like 10 million in 2 years. First, life tests you. Life like makes you wait for the perfect timing. It takes years and years of struggles, and then finally like it happens. It falls into place, and it's like even greater than you imagined. You know that Instagram quotes that's going around, like God planned something even much better for you. If you just have a little bit of faith and consistency for yourself, you are absolutely going to reach there. The Atomic Habits graph like shows us this thing, and I really liked this graph. It actually like made me think something. Okay, basically there are like 4 laws in this book. Make it attractive, make it obvious, make it easy, etc., etc. Make it rewarding. So, but I really liked the 3rd law, which was make it easy. And I really implemented this strategy to my life. We always say like we want to exercise, and then we start off like really, really big and huge. And then we end up losing motivation, exhausting ourselves, having a mental trauma from that. So when I started gym like 2 years ago, I made a huge goal for myself to like lose 5 kilograms in 7 days. And that created such a mental trauma to myself, because if I didn't like lose 5 kilograms in a week, I was so disappointed in myself, and I made myself suffer even more. I was almost like dying because I was eating only cabbage a day, and then I was constantly hungry, and I lost so much weight. The result from that only like made me traumatic about the gym, and it made me gain twice the amount of weight back because my body system was not functioning properly, and I ate so much after giving up. So that made me gain twice as much weight. The reason for that was because I was so impatient with myself, and I set a huge goal for myself. Atomic means like small, right? What this make it easy law basically says that if you actually like take it one step at a time, you're more likely to end up doing that thing longer, and it will be more effective. A lot of like water drops come together to create the ocean. So make it easy for yourself. Do not exhaust yourself. Do not create that mental trauma for yourself, because you'll only end up giving up. You would never want to do that thing again if you like created a very huge goal for fitness for this year, and then you constantly fail to meet that goal. You would give up, you would be disappointed with yourself, it will ruin your self-esteem, and then you will not likely to go to the gym again. Instead of doing that, like go to the gym, practice for 10 minutes, and then come back. It's as easy as that. If you actually like do that, you'll be more motivated. So I want to accomplish so many things in life right now, right? So I want to learn a new language. I want to learn Japanese. I want to stay in shape. I want to also study and get a good grade for myself. I'm doing all of that in a small amount, you know. I'm learning Japanese like 5 minutes a day right now. Past me would have never done that. Past me would have like put 2 hours into learning Japanese, and that would have like exhausted me. So now I'm learning Japanese like 5 minutes a day on Duolingo, and I'm exercising like 3 times a day for 5 minutes, and I spend like 20 minutes studying for each subject every day. That helps a lot. And of course it's gonna be like different for everybody, because not everyone's gonna have the same priorities in life. But like start small, start by making it tolerable. If you do like an exercise for 5 minutes today, maybe next month make it a 10 minutes, maybe next year make it a 20-30 minutes. It doesn't have to be really hard. The important thing is to be consistent. It is to build habits. Habits like shape your reality, not a result. If you become fit, and in the next month, if you do not have the habit to eat healthy, if you do not have the habit to exercise, you're still gonna gain your weight back. And if you like learn the language like very fully, if you finished all your courses, and if you do not practice that, if you do not like have the habit of practicing that, in a year that can still be forgotten, you know. Key to maintaining that is through habits and consistency. To make it tolerable, to actually make that more like manageable, it is to just do it in small amounts. That is what this book teaches. This book also like says like how to achieve more with less effort. So just build some habits, and then all your problems will go away. The next book is The Alchemist. I read this book like 4 times already, and I'm just gonna like talk about it. This book actually changed my life. So this book like talks about this shepherd kid who is on a journey to find life's meaning. It just like describes his journey in a very simple, understandable, and very interesting way. This shepherd boy wants to find the gold hidden in the sands of Egypt. He encounters clergies, merchants, and all sorts of people. He loses things along the way. I really like this one quote of the Alchemist that says, "The fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams." It's actually very true if you think about it. When we wanna do something and then we are afraid of doing that thing, so we wanna text someone that we like, and then we keep thinking over and over again how that person's going to react, what that person's gonna say, what that person's gonna think. That suffering is so much worse than actually texting the person and then getting that reply. That's just so much more worse than that. I don't know how to put it in a good word, but when you want to exercise to get a fit body, and you think that you're going to but I'm gonna be so tired if I exercise and stuff. That mental suffering actually is much more deeper than actually exercising, because before you start something, you're gonna be I don't feel like doing this. And then when you actually start doing that thing, you're gonna think to yourself, oh, it's actually not that bad. And then after you finish doing that, you're gonna think to yourself, wow, I'm so glad that I did that. God let everyone have a purpose in life. And if you really want something, if you really cannot stop thinking about that something, when you actually go for it, when you work towards it, it actually just flows very smoothly, because the universe is supporting you on its back, because the universe put that dream in your heart, and you will inevitably reach your destination. No heart has ever suffered on its journey for its purpose. If you're actually pursuing what you really want, it will not feel like suffering. It will not feel like a challenge. It will just feel like an exciting journey, an adventure. The shepherd boy also meets this girl, and then he falls in love with her, but he has a purpose, right? He has a purpose that he has to fulfill. He has a dilemma. If he stays with the girl, he will get married and live with the love of his life. But if he leaves the girl and then goes in pursuit of his own dream, then he is going to fulfill his purpose, and then he might lose the girl. But then there's this quote that comes in the book that says, if what one finds is made of pure matter, it will never spoil, and one can always come back. If what you had found was only a moment of light, like the explosion of a star, you would find nothing on your return. If it's a true love, it will never go away. It will always be there. Even if you go for fulfilling your purpose, even if you go for what you want. If your love was meant to be, it will always be there. It will never go away because you already have it. But if it was not meant to be, even if you force things and choose to stay together, it will always go away. Somehow it never ends up working out. So do not worry about holding on tight to your love, to your career, to your job. If it was really meant to be, it will not go away. So I am such a delusional girl, right? I am a full believer in the phrase, the delulu is the solulu. I always believe that being delusional and being very happy, feeling very good is so much better than being realistic and being unhappy. So the part of the reason that this book really stuck to me was the point of being unrealistic. So there's this quote, I see the world in terms of what I would like to see happen, not what actually does. So when you see great inventions and innovations in the world, before inventing that, people had no idea about what that would be like. Because the inventors wanted to have that, wanted to manifest that into reality, it actually became a reality. They were delusional about it. They were okay, I can do this, I can like achieve this, like why not can it happen to me? Be the Lulu, be unrealistic. The point is being unrealistic, you know? Also, like being unrealistic is believing in yourself, in your own potential. It gives you a motivation to actually try and take a step. I really like this book because it brings that point up. And then the final point of The Alchemist is there's only one way to learn, and it's through action. It also ties to the point I made in the Innovator's Dilemma. Just take action. The only way to learn is to take action. And The Alchemist was this book. I really recommend you guys read it. The fourth book that I want to talk about is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. Even though I didn't like how it was written, I didn't like the style of writing in this. It's not really my cup of tea, but there were some good points made in this book. So let's get into it. The first point that I want to make is choosing what to care about. Mark Manson stresses this point about an old lady in the store. The old lady gets angry at the service person because they messed up with her discount thingy or something. And then she gets angry. She gets worked up, even when it was such a trivial thing, even when she would have just saved like $1 or something from that discount. She gets worked up. She stresses everyone around her. Why does that old woman put so much importance over a little $1 thingy? Because she has no other important thing to be focusing on in her life right now. Imagine what that old woman does in her house. She doesn't have a job, she's not studying. She cares about this little trivial thing. That is the focus of the day for her because she has no important things to be worrying about. Number one point that this book makes is choose what you have to care about. So we all have a limited time and energy, right? Instead of trying to care about everything, oh, this person didn't text me, oh, my friend did this, my friend said this, why would she say that, I didn't like that. And choosing to care about everything, it will only drain your energy and it will only be a waste of time. Create your value. For example, my value is education, family, money, and health. So I focus on these four things and I work towards getting more money every day, caring about my family more. I care about my health so that I exercise. I care about being fit, being very strong and building muscles. And I care about my education so that I read books. And if I didn't have all of these values, my focus would go everywhere, especially with this social media era. I would look at this person's post oh, I should be like this, I should do this thing and that. I would compare myself to people. I would stress over the little thing that other people have said to me. Have better things to care about. One way to do that is create a list of values and create a to-do list. With the to-do list, put things that aligns with your values. So for my daily to-do lists, one of them is to read books. So what is that adding to which of my values? It is education. I value education, so let's put read one page of a book every day for my to-do list. Also, I'll put 5 minutes of exercise in my to-do list, and that aligns with my health value. So have better things to care about. Mark Manson says the thing that's there's a whole chapter about boundaries, especially in relationships, because there should be some sort of boundary in a healthy relationship. So for example, do not solve each other's problems. So if there's a man and a woman in a relationship and then a man tries to let the woman do his laundry, cook for him, take care of him in the household, act as his mother, then that's a relationship with no boundary, especially for unmarried couples. the woman should say, I think that's a you problem and that you should solve your own problems. And that is putting boundary. It is important for the man to be independent, to do his things on his own. And then it is important for the woman to also, for her mental health, for prioritizing her own needs, to create that boundary. And then let's say the woman is very insecure and jealous, so she puts responsibility for her man. She would say things like, I get so jealous. I do not trust you going out with your friends because I get so jealous. In a way, she's making her man responsible for her own feelings. Take responsibility for your own emotions, for your own duties. The man should take responsibility for his own duties. The same goes along with the woman. It's telling us that we should be held responsible for our own emotions, for our own actions. There should be no excuses. She provoked me. She said things that made me want to punch the TV. He acted in a way that provoked me to slap him in the face. That is just putting another person responsible for your own emotions and behaviors and actions. The point is that responsibility and ownership. But in a relationship, there should be some sort of taking care of each other and solving each other's problems, because that's what makes a good relationship, and you guys should try to make your partner happy. But if you requested a thing and they set their own boundaries of not doing that thing, would the other person yell, scream, break dishes and act like that? And if the answer to that is yes, then there's a problem of you guys making each other responsible for your own responsibilities. Also, there was this chapter that Mark Manson put in his book that talked about the dying of his friend. One day he dreamed about his dead friend. Mark Manson was like, I am very sorry that you died. And then the friend replied, if you're so afraid of living, why are you regretting that I am dead? And that actually felt like such a strong quote for me, because we sometimes always mostly live in fear. I really want to do this thing, but what will other people say? I really want to text this person and say how I feel, but what will he think? What will she think? Or I really want to post a video on YouTube, but what will people say? There's an underlying fear that's going on behind the process. If you're so afraid of living, then why are you regretting that I am dead? It's basically that we are almost close to living as a dead person. We are living, we are alive in this moment. That means that we should eliminate fear. Of course, there's gonna be fear. It's a natural emotion, but we should not be controlled by our fear. There's gonna be a fear, accept that, embrace that feeling, but your fear shouldn't dictate, shouldn't control your actions, because do it afraid, do it scared, do it alone, just do it. Choosing to act is your choice. Your actions are your choice. You can do whatever you want, even if you're afraid. Live your life to the fullest is the point that was tried to be made in this book. And after hearing that quote, Mark Manson woke up crying. That was a turning point in his life. And then he started his online business. He was ready to risk it all. He actually took action. Those were the points that I really liked about these 4 books. These knowledges really helped me to live my life very easily, and I recommend reading these books. It was such a nice experience to share the points with you guys. Also refreshing the memories of the books for my own self. I also learned something from it. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I hope you watched it till the end. So I'm still trying on my speaking style. I may have stuttered so much because this is my first time talking about this topic, guys. So, okay, yes, subscribe and like. Thanks.